Hey there, my name is Andrew Medlam, founder of AndrewMedlam.com and also the creator of Get More Clients Academy. So inside this blog post, I'm going to help you very quickly identify where your prospects are hanging out online. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Just imagine if you knew exactly where to position your marketing message, if you knew exactly where to be spending your marketing budget, if you knew exactly where to be spending your own time, I'm sure your business would be in a totally different place than it is today. So stick around because I'm going to share with you the 3 free tools that I use, not just for my business, but also for my VIP clients' business as well, so we can identify exactly where we're going to be getting our next clients from. Stick around. Welcome back. So as I've said to you before, I'm going to show you exactly where you need to be spending your time. I'm going to show you where you need to be spending your budget. I'm going to be showing you where to position your marketing message. So underneath this blog post, I've actually broken the steps down so you can read, you can click on links, you can go through to the tools. But I also wanted to create a video as well, just to be able to walk and talk you through the process. So as you see underneath, the first thing that I ask you to do is we need to create a database. And we're going to do some research, and this data that we're going to collect, we need to put it somewhere nice and tidy. So I need you to create a spreadsheet. So you either do that just by opening up Excel on your desktop, on your laptop, or go over to Google Docs and get access to a free spreadsheet there. Once you've got this document open, I need you to be able to create a few columns. So underneath this video, I outline the columns that you want to create. So one of the columns is influencers. So these are market influencers, people that are already in your marketplace, so they're in your niche, and they're already seen as an expert. They're already seen as somebody that's got authority in your field. And so column and title at the top, market influence or market expert, that's totally up to you. And then created another column called branding, and then another column for websites, another column for blog posts or articles, another column for magazines, another column for books, a column for authors, a column for tools, a column for podcasts. Create a lot of columns with different titles. So before we get into the free tools that I use, first of all, I want you to think for yourself, because you'll already be able to fill out some of this data. So you'll already know market influencers in your niche. So have a think about some of the top authority people in your marketing space, and go ahead and type their names underneath the first column, which is influencers or market experts. I know that you're going to be able to just brain dump. This is just a brain dumping exercise. So go ahead and fill in the columns. So you can do the same with other columns as well. You know, I'm sure there's blog posts that you read, there's certain articles on certain websites, there's books that you know of, there's authors in your industry that are selling a lot of books and they've got a big presence within your industry. So go ahead, pause this video and do some brain dumping from the information that you already know, and then come back. Cool. So hopefully you've done that, and already you've started collating data. And this is data that we're going to be able to use to find out exactly where we need to be positioning our marketing message. So now we need to be moving on to the free tools. So with the information that we've got, we're kind of limited with that. So we now need to find out other influencers, we need to find out other books, other magazines, other blog posts, other sources that are out there that we're not that we don't know that exist, right? Would you agree? So we need to really fill this data out, this spreadsheet out as much as we can. The more data we get, that's going to give us just more advantage in the marketplace when we come to finding out exactly where we need to be hanging out. So cool. So the first tool that we use is good old faithful Google. Okay, not rocket science. But this is an open resource that's going to give us a lot of information. So open Google up in a different browser, and I want you to put yourself in your prospect's shoes and think about the pain points that your prospects are currently experiencing. Think about the struggles that they're currently facing each and every day. Think about the solutions that you offer as a business owner, as a coach, entrepreneur, mentor, and type in some type of a phrase that your prospects could possibly go to Google to find an answer that's going to help them. And from the results that Google provides you, you're going to get sponsored ads at the top and maybe at the bottom as well, and maybe on the right hand side. So from these sponsored ads, you're finding other people that are willing to pay to be positioned in this market space, right? So you're going to find websites, so you can put websites, now you can put these URLs into your database. You're going to find branding, you can put that into your database. You're going to find articles, so you can take the websites that want to put into blog posts, links. You might also come across other authorities, other market influencers that are branding themselves, that may be getting some free organic results. So look at all this data that Google's providing you, because these are people that are ranking really high for this particular keyword phrase. So all this data, I want you to collate it, bring it all off, and pop it inside your own database. And then play around with the phrasing that you're using, because if you use different keywords, different phrases in different ways, then Google is going to provide you with different information. You can spend 5-10 minutes, you can spend half an hour on this. This is totally up to you, but the more data that you collate, then the better you're going to find, the quicker you're going to find where to actually position your marketing message and where you need to be spending your time and budget. Okay, so cool. So that's tool number one, Google. Simple, right? These things are not rocket science, but it's the things that people don't do. It's doing the due diligence before you actually take your marketing message into the world. And for me, this is one of the reasons why coaches struggle. You know, how can you run a successful business or create a successful business if you don't know where to market it? But you see, predominantly what people do is they just jump into the marketplace and just try and be everywhere. And basically what I see people doing is taking the offline traditional marketing methods of just scattergunning, just trying to be everywhere, and actually speaking to nobody and actually not being anywhere significant. And they're just taking that same model and they've just brought it online. And they're still scattergunning, but they're now doing it online. So they're on Twitter, they're on YouTube, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Instagram, they're on everywhere, but they're not in the right place. Does that make sense? And it's time to stop that. So the first free tool is Google. So if you have not finished this yet, pause this video and go ahead, do some research, fill in the database on top of the information that you've currently got, and then come back and let's move on to the free tool number 2. So number 2 is SimilarWeb.com. This is an amazing free tool that you've got open access to. So go to SimilarWeb.com, and underneath this video, I think in step 2, there'll be a link over to SimilarWeb.com. And from the URLs that you found, so from the websites that you found, from the other authority people that's in your marketplace, inside SimilarWeb.com, I want you to put in the URL in the search field at the top of the website. So for example, if one of your market influencers, somebody like, shall we say, lewishouse.com or Lewis House. So if you type in lewishouse.com and then press search, what SimilarWeb will do is we'll go out onto lewishouse.com and go into the marketplace and go online, and all the data that they can find out about this URL or Lewis House's website, they will bring it back and they will position all the data underneath inside SimilarWeb.com. Now this information is absolutely priceless to you and your business success. And just have a look. If you just went to SimilarWeb.com and just typed in lewishouse.com, you can see how many hits per month that this particular URL website gets. You'll see the top rankings. You'll see the rankings in the world. You'll see the rankings, what categories it ranks in, and the number. You'll see how many hits it gets on a monthly basis, how long people are spending on this particular website. And then you can scroll down, and the other information that you're going to get is absolutely priceless, because it'll break down the audience, exactly where this particular audience that visits this website, they'll show you where it's coming from before they visit this particular website, but then when they leave this website, where do they go to? So now we're finding other websites where people are coming from and where they're going to. So again, this is more data that you can get from SimilarWeb.com, and you can pop it inside your own database. And then scroll down, it'll break down this particular audience again in much detail. So it'll say, okay, so percentage of this audience is hanging out on Facebook, percentage of this audience is hanging out on Twitter, some is in LinkedIn, some is on Google. It'll show you some of the keywords that this particular website is targeting organically. And if they are paying for Google AdWords, it'll show you some of the keywords that they're targeting as well. And sometimes it'll also show you the banners that they're using on other websites to attract all their audiences. So SimilarWeb.com is a very, very powerful free tool that you've got open access to. So carry on scrolling down, because this website is going to give us more information, some more powerful stuff that we can add into our own database. So right at the bottom, it will also show you similar websites. So it'll look at lewishouse.com, or it'll look at the URL that you're particularly searching for, and it'll say, okay, so looking at the data that this particular website is telling us, there's also these are the websites as well that's offering the same services because they've got the similar audience. So now you're going to find another 8 or 10 websites underneath that you never knew existed. And these websites and these people, these influencers, these brands, these magazines, they've all got big audiences. So you can now research these websites, and you can look at where these audiences are hanging out, where these people are hanging out. Because the thing is that all the market influencers, they've done all the heavy lifting. They've done all the hustle and bustling. They've created the tribes. They've created the audiences. They're selling online. All you need to do is find out exactly where they're positioning their marketing message, and you just need to hang out in the same place. So for example, if you were doing a search on lewishouse.com and you scroll down to where the biggest percentage of his audience is hanging out, and it says, well, 68% of this 3 million per month audience is hanging out on Facebook, straight away, you know the answer. You know where you need to be. But if the answer is, well, predominantly the biggest percentage of this audience is hanging out on LinkedIn, then that's the answer. So you can collate all this data and you can put it in your own database inside Google Docs or on your website, or sorry, on your computer. And you're creating an invaluable resource that you can pull on to do your own research to find out where you need to be positioning your marketing message. So we talked about Google, then we talked about using SimilarWeb.com. You know, do your due diligence here, guys, because this is why people don't have successful businesses, because they don't do the due diligence on where they need to be positioning their marketing message. And how can you have a successful campaign and a successful business if you don't know actually where you need to be? Okay, so you can understand the value of this video and the tools I'm sharing with you today. And this is just gone to explain why some of the success that we've had in running campaigns on Facebook and other areas in marketing. So the third and final free tool, and there is others, but the third tool that I use is Audience Insights, actually inside of Facebook. So if you've never placed a Facebook ad before, then you'll not have access to Audience Insights. But if you have, then you do have access, but maybe you've never used it before, or you actually maybe don't know it exists. But if you look at Facebook in its entirety as a business, all it is just one big data bank. It's just one big bank of data, okay? Every time somebody puts in where they live, where they work, in the relationship, the buying methods, absolutely everything, how much they earn, what pages do they like, what groups are they involved in. Facebook is just one big collective database, and Facebook gives you and me as a business owner, gives you access to this database through Audience Insights. So you can go into Audience Insights, and on the left hand side you put the demographics of your audience. So you put in your particular geographical area that you want to market in. If you're just like working locally, or if you're working nationally, or if you're working globally, you enter the sex, so the gender of the audience that you want to position yourself in front of, and then the age range. Put in a few interested target audiences, so you can now take some of the data one by one inside of your own database that you've started building. And for example, if I was to put Lewis House in there and Facebook and press enter, Facebook now is going to give me more data based on the audience that Lewis House has got. Not only that as well, it's also going to show me other pages that I wasn't aware that existed that also have a similar audience to Lewis House. Or I could put products, or I could put blogs in there, or I could put services in there. But you're going to collect more data, and then this is the real thing. You're now going to be able to see that if people have got massive databases and massive audiences on Facebook, and from the database that you've collated and you pop it into Audience Insights, if people are ranking in the relevance is high, and again, you really need to be getting into Audience Insights and do your due diligence. Learn how to manipulate this and use it for your own advantage. Just look at all the data that Facebook's providing you. And again, this is all free, guys. This is all free. You're going to be able to find out that when you run a Facebook ad, you know exactly who to target and who not to target. So I know people that know that these platforms exist, where you've got access to all this free data, yet they just don't do their due diligence. But then when they've got a struggling business, they blame everything else. You see, for you to have a successful business, you need to have a successful marketing campaign. To have a successful marketing campaign, you need to know exactly where you need to be marketing your marketing message, where you need to be spending your marketing budget, and where you need to be spending your time, because your time is more valuable than anything. So I hope that's been useful. If it has, then I encourage you and invite you even to make a comment underneath. Share me your experiences. Show me what you've got. Tell me what you've found, or maybe how we've helped you through this video. And if you know any other struggling business owners or coaches that would like to be able to find out exactly where they need to be spending their time and their budget and their efforts, then feel free to copy the URL and post onto Facebook and share the love that I'm willing to share with you guys here today. So thanks for coming across. Again, do your due diligence, and I look forward to your success.